Suicidal tendencies that creep up in my coffin. I don't wanna do no talking. Can't you see the reaper? He go crazy, he go dumb. I'm gonna let my chopper drown.
Hi guys, in this YouTube video I will show you 21 things to do after installing Linux Mint 21 Vanessa based on Ubuntu 22.04. First of all, update the system. Simply open the terminal, sudo apt update and sudo apt upgrade. Now with the first command it synced all the repositories. Now upgrade the packages. The packages are upgraded. Now we need to go into the graphical update manager. You can find it at the bottom. You can go into information. Here various information. Preferences. You need to go into the automation tab. Update cinnamon spices automatically. There are some addition to the cinnamon panel at the bottom of the screen. And now update Flatpaks automatically. Now select fastest mirror in software sources. Go into the menu, write software sources, pick this one, put your administrator password. Now pick main mirror for Linux Mint and base mirror for Ubuntu. Here pick one, pick base mirror as well. Pick this one. Okay, now it will sync to the fastest mirror in your region and the updates will be faster. Now we need to install Microsoft fonts. They will be better because they will improve the compatibility between LibreOffice and Microsoft Office. We need to find it in the software manager. It is also possible to install them using the terminal command line, but through the software manager it is simpler for everyone. Here let's wait until it updates the repository, the software cache. Now write Microsoft fonts. TTF MS fonts installer. Here this is how it is called. It will install all the various Microsoft fonts like Arial, Comic Sans, Times New Roman and Webding. Install administrator password. OK. You will need to accept a Microsoft EULA license. Usually it happens. Here, as I told you, license accept next and it is installing the other fonts. Now that the Microsoft fonts are installed, let's install Mint Media Codecs. There are codecs that will help you playing back different video and audio type. You have the option to install them during installation, but if you forgot, sudo apt install mint media codecs. Unable to locate package because it is already installed. Now set up screen high DPI settings. For example, if you have a laptop with very high resolution, like the new 4K gaming laptops or an Apple MacBook, you should go to settings, enable fractional scaling, and here you can change monitor scale to make it better. Now install proprietary drivers. You will need them, for example, if you have NVIDIA graphics, go to Administration, Driver Manager. It will look for the drivers, and if you have NVIDIA, you should install the latest one. Linux Mint only works on Edge.org, so you won't have the troubles of switching from Zorg to Wayland. It will be just Edge.org. So even if you don't have the latest version of the driver, it will work well enough. Now install your favorite application from the software store. I usually install VLC or GIMP. Here we have VLC. Install. Later I will also install GIMP. I use it to make all of my YouTube channel thumbnail. Now, after you have installed all of your favorite applications, you will need to go to Administrator, System Reports to check if some language packs are available to translate the application in your own language if you have set up a language different than English. Here it will automatically install all of the language packs for your applications. Here it found the language pack for GIMP. Continue. Okay, it is installing it. Now you need to enable the firewall to make the system more secure. Here the application firewall configuration, it will use the UFW firewall. It is a popular firewall application for Ubuntu, Linux Mint and Debian. Change profile to Office and it will be enabled. Here you can change the rules, the waypoint. It can be useful, for example, to open some ports such as port 22 for SSH, port 80 for HTTP, and port 443 for HTTPS networking. Now set up the startup application. Go to the menus, search startup applications. You can disable some of them, for example, disable Mint Welcome. I disable SSH because I don't use it. I disable printer because I don't have a printer. And disable Bluetooth because I don't use Bluetooth headphones. Now go to Firefox. You need to change some things. The most important one is you should change if you want your search engine to another one such as DuckDuckGo. That will be better for your privacy. Here remove sponsor, go to settings, search engine, change the default, don't show search suggestion. go to privacy and security. You can remove logins, make no remember history, HTTPS only mode in all windows. This is very important. You should also enable DRM settings. If you enable DRM, it will be possible to see some shows such as Netflix or Disney Plus. Here, play DRM control content. It will be a little worse for your privacy, but if you watch Netflix, Disney Plus or Amazon Prime Video, you need to enable these. Now, if you are a Linux gamer, on Linux Mint 21, installing Wine is easier. First, sudo dpkg add architecture r286. Now sudo apt install Wine installer. With this new version, installing Wine, it is simpler because by installing only one application, it will bring together all the various dependencies, the same as what happened on the new version of Fedora, and so installing Wine it is simpler. As you can see here, it is using the same repositories as Ubuntu 22.04 because the new Linux Mint 21 Vanessa is based on Ubuntu 22.04 Jammy Jellyfish. Now configure Wine sudo wine cfg, enter. Now it is updating the Wine configuration. If it will ask us to install mono packages or gecko packages, install everything. Here, couldn't find WineGecko. It will ask us to install it. Here libraries, graphics, desktop, Wine version 6. It is old, didn't expect that. Now install Steam and Proton. Sudo apt install Steam. Proton is a component inside of Steam that will act as a compatibility layer between Windows games and Linux. After you log in with your Steam account, it will show you all the games that you bought, and the Linux games will work natively, while the Windows games will need to be translated using this compatibility layer of Proton. Here it is updating Steam. Later I will show you to enable Proton to play all of the games on Linux. Now that you enter the Steam account, go to Steam settings, go down to Steam Play, enable Steam Play for all titles, and here we can select Proton. Okay, now even the Windows games will be compatible on Linux thanks to Proton. While the Linux native games, for example Tomb Raider or those games ported by Feral Interactive, They will work very well without problems. Now let's install Lutwish. It is this application that will act as a game front end for emulators Origin and GOG games. Add the repository, add apt repository ppa // ppa Lutwish. Update. Then we will install Lutwish. Now it is installing Lutwish. Now let's start Lutwish. Here, Lutwish. It is checking for the application updates. Lutwish is this application that will enable you to play various Steam games together with the games from other sources. For example, GOG, EA Games, Origin. For example, if you bought The Sims 4 or Need for Speed The Payback on Origin, you could sync it up thanks to Lutwish to play it with Linux. As I told you here, so this is Lutwish. You can connect to lutwish.net to find the various games installer. Also connect to GOG. It is this website to buy games, the same as Epic Games, Origin, Ubisoft Connect, Steam. Here you can change some things into Linux runners. Here various system options, game mode, NVIDIA render. It will launch the game on the NVIDIA graphics card. In this way the performance will be better. And FPS counter with MangoHUD. MangoHUD, it is an optional package that will work the same as MSI Afterburner on Windows. Now, as to the network settings, change DNS to make network faster. Go to Preferences, Network, change settings, IPv4, IPv6. We only need to change the DNS. Pick another DNS provider. For example, I will choose Quad9 DNS. Here, Quad9. Change the IPv4 DNS manual. One command, the other one. The second one, I did mistake. Now go to IPv6 first, and the second, apply, exit. Now reload the network manager service. Quick connection test. Ping 3 times. 0% packet loss. It means it is working well with the new DNS. Now change the swappiness level to make the system faster. To check swappiness level, cut proc sys VM swappiness level is 60. It is a bit too high. If the swappiness is low, the computer will use the RAM in a more efficient way. Let's change it. Nano etc sysctl.conf, add at the end of the test vm.swappiness equal 10, save, exit, reboot. After we reboot the system, let's check swappiness again. Cut proc sys vm swappiness. The level is 10. It means our feeds worked fine. Now change the user image. Go to administrator, user and groups at the bottom. Authenticate. Here user John. Change the picture to whatever you want. Football ball, for example. Now go to change themes and appearance. White themes. Here we can change the icons, for example yellow. Change the buttons to dark mode. Mouse and change the desktop. We can also add some themes from the internet if it loads. Here we can add, for example, Numis theme. Let's add this. It is installing. Return to themes, desktop. Here Num is transparent. You see the bottom is transparent and the icons, wait, we don't have the Numix icons. We have also the Advaita, the stock GNOME icons. Now change the background, right click on the desktop, change desktop background. Here on Linux Mint Vanessa, there are many new backgrounds, for example Mingslang, Bubble similar to the new iPhone 13 or 12, India background, This is Windows 11 knockoff, San Francisco at night. If you want to add your own background, go to the internet, search a background, pick the city for example, the city again, save the image, save in pictures, save, go to the background, add the new location, pictures, open, and you find this your background. Now the last thing will be if you want to change the desktop shell to fish shell. It is a shell that gives you auto-completing feature. Install. After that, you will need to change the shell with a command. Sudo change shell user local bin fish and the name of your user. User bin fish, okay. Now reboot the system and you will boot into the new shell. Restart. Return into the terminal. As you can see from this prompt with the key, with the arrow, we are in the fish shell. We can see the auto-completion feature, and these were 21 things to do after installing Linux Mint 21 Vanessa. See you later, guys.